Hi, it's Keir Finlay Bates here. So if you go to a Web3 website that you trust and it shows you that a token is an NFT from a verified collection by putting a check mark on it, you would think that that must then indeed be the case, that you are looking at the option of buying or swapping with the owner of a verified valuable token. However, that may not be the case, as a Bored Ape Yacht token owner recently found when they engaged in a swap with what they thought was for a verified token, but turned out to be a piece of junk. And the way that this happened is because this token owner was not aware of the difference between the data layer and the presentation layer within blockchain. And by that I mean the data layer is the data as it is on the blockchain, and that is therefore the single view of the truth that the blockchain creates for this constellation of distributed databases, whereas the presentation layer is what a Web3 website presents you with when you go to interact with that data layer. And the problem is that whereas the data layer is controlled by rules and protocols, the presentation layer is entirely under the control of the people who designed, developed and deployed the Web3 website. Except they might find that their site is actually hacked. And this is what happened in the trade that a Bored Ape Yacht Club token holder engaged in, where they thought they were swapping their tokens for tokens of value because they had a check mark, but it turned out they were junk. And the way that the scammer who scammed them out of $500,000 worth of NFTs managed to pull off this stunt is they created junk tokens that contained the check mark within the image. So from the user's perspective, when going to the website, it looked like this was a verified token, but it wasn't. It was a token pointing to an image containing a verified check mark within it. And it was therefore a checkmark that hadn't been added by the website. However, from a user's perspective, the two look exactly the same. Whether the checkmark is added afterwards by the website or whether it's in the image already, you end up with the same constellation of pixels on the web page. And this is therefore an example of bad design by Web3 web designers. And I hope they move that checkmark off the image and to the side or underneath the image so this stunt can't be pulled again. However, you can of course also have malicious Web3 websites where it's not just a scammer who finds a bad design decision, but where bad design decisions are actually made on purpose by the Web3 devs in order to scam people. And this is why, as a user of blockchain, you have to be acutely aware of whether you are looking at a data layer or you are looking at a presentation layer. And most of the time you're going to be looking at a presentation layer, so you need to be careful and you need to verify and investigate what is going on. And of course this means that even trusted sites such as Etherscan are actually presentation layer sites. If you really want to be safe and sure, you have to run your own Ethereum node, you have to know how to interact with it, and you need to query that data by hand personally. Now of course for most of us that is too difficult and too much work, so we go to the convenience of these presentation layer Web3 websites. But always keep it in the back of your mind, that may not be presenting you with the truth. It may be presenting you with a distortion of the truth or even a downright lie, because there's nothing that compels a Web3 website to accurately show you the information that is on the blockchain. That's it for today. Hope you found it interesting, and I'll see you in the next video soon. Bye for now.